Welcome to Alaska EdVenture, hosted by Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This award-winning podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape. In each episode, we'll explore the unique perspectives of guests who are shaping education in the last frontier. Join us on Alaska EdVenture as we share the insights and inspirations found in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Welcome back to the Alaska EdVenture podcast. This is Dr. Luke Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. And today we're going to be talking about community partnerships and an amazing opportunity for our teachers through some of our local business partners that provided an appreciation gift for them recently. And so two of our business partners that participated in that event and that giveaway are here to talk on the podcast today. So Les, I'll let you introduce yourself and who you're representing.
So I'm Les Nichols. I'm with Fairbanks Nissan and Sundog Community Fitness.
Awesome. Thanks, Les.
Hi, I'm Kim Schreiner. I'm with Borealis Med Spa.
All right. And Les, this is year 2 of a teacher appreciation from the business community organized by you. Last year, we specifically targeted special education teachers within the district. And what started that for you and for Fairbanks Nissan?
Well, you know, it actually goes back to a school board race a couple of years ago. So Brandy Hardy and I ran against each other. And we had conversations early on about what kind of campaign we wanted to run to make sure that it was polite and professional and make sure that there wasn't any, storytelling or just all the things that are dirty and ugly about politics. And as we got to know each other, we found a lot of common ground in our backgrounds in education and kind of what our desires and mission was and our interest for running for school board. And one of the things that was established early on was, hey, if I don't win or if you don't win, just understand I'm not your enemy. I am here to help the school district. I'm here to help our students and, education in general. And if you need anything, reach out to me. My resources are at your disposal. And so obviously she won, and she did. She reached out. She got a hold of, Kate Hall and hers had sat down and talked about trying to do something to show some appreciation for the special ed department. There was concern that they may be left out of some of the teacher appreciation because they can be from one school to the next and they just happen to miss it. So we thought about it for a while, and at 450 people, I thought, man, that's a lot of giving. We talked about sweatshirts initially, and I looked at the cost of that and I was like, oh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
But as we started to play with it, there seemed to be an easy in, and we just started with some gift certificates on things that were easy ways to say thank you. From Fairbanks Nissan, it was just an oil change, something we know everybody needs, and we know teachers are at work the hours that most shops are open. So then we said, well, if you need us to, we'll come pick up your car, we'll drop it off. Let's see how we can make this really easy for you because we know you're busy and we get it. And then from Sundog, we said, and here's a month of self-care. Just come in and we'll coach you through classes for a month. Maybe CrossFit is something you've never tried before. You just want to try it on. And maybe you've never done anything, or maybe you've been at it before. And it's just a way. Some of our teachers at the gym were able to use that to have a free month and just, again, another thank you. So it worked out well. And the participation was good. And doing that first step of 450, because it was manageable, we said, well, man, can we do this for everybody? Because I think given the environment we're in right now, trying to share appreciation with people in education is important at all levels. So we just decided to go for gusto, and we had some great partners jump in with us this year, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing. Before we move on, I do want to kind of dig into what inspired you to run for the school board and continues to inspire you to help out our educators here in Fairbanks.
So I spent a long time in education in Florida. I moved outside to finish schooling when the university in Anchorage killed my degree program. Ended up in Florida and got into education down there. Ended up working for a charter school for 10 years. And I loved the work. Mom got sick, so it was time to come home and take care of my mom. And then my wife got pregnant, and now we've got kids in the district. And so watching the struggles that the district was having and, knowing that my kids were going to be directly impacted by it and knowing that I had a background in education, it felt like a pretty easy thing to step into because my step into administration, I was handed a school that my predecessor had been caught embezzling. it was a pretty dire situation. They were looking at closing the school, and so I had to go to the board with a plan. I said, here's how we're going to fix this. And so they took it on, and a year later we were back in the black. So it was looking at it, I go, okay, financial problems and trying to work with mission-driven people on a critical part of our society. It all seemed to line up. Felt like old hat.
Yeah.
But and what drives it is still the same problems. Our future is determined by the kids that are going through our education system now, including my kids. And, we have to set them up for the highest level of success we can offer them, and that foundation of education is critical. So I'm in for whatever I can help with.
Love that. Well,
awesome.
It's awesome and inspiring to have somebody with that wealth of knowledge on the educational side, but now being a very successful businessman as well, and then partnering with our school. So thank you.
My pleasure.
How did you get involved in all of this? And so this is year 2. We took it to another level through this year's appreciation. We hit all of our educators and staff members throughout the district. And so how did you get roped into this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One, I want to say that I'm proud to be a part of. I'm excited to be here and to give back to the community and to the school district and the educators. And I was approached by Les and his team, and immediately before he even got to finish telling me his plans, immediately I knew I was going to be a part of this. And I hope to continue to be a part of it. And I hope to be a part of the growth. And I'm not afraid to go bigger, kind of like how Les was talking about the future of what we might do next year or next time with this. So I got involved, our Borealis Med Spa and my sister company, Fairbanks Hearing and Balance Center, which is we're all owned by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic of Fairbanks, and they've been a part of the community for over 40 years and have often done sponsorships and given back. And so I'm excited to be a part of that and to continue to do that with Borealis Med Spa. So
excellent. Yeah. For those that don't know, what is Borealis Med Spa, or is it the nose?
The Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic.
Clinic.
So the ENT clinic opened a med spa just over 5 years ago. I joined exactly 5 years ago this November. And so we are an aesthetic and wellness practice. So we focus on health and skin rejuvenation is our primary focus. So it's been a blast. I love the Fairbanks community. I've met so many wonderful people. I myself have been a part of the Fairbanks community for 20 years. So in that time, I've met many educators and I've seen their devotion and what they're willing to do for the kids. And so when Les approached me and his team approached me, it was immediately, yes, I want it. What can I do and how can we be a part of this?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for the support. I know our educators, as we've gone around and handed out the kind of the packet of coupons and offerings from both of your businesses, and Sunrise Coffee also put in a great offer for our educators. Thank you to them. Their whole being is, it lights up and they're excited, and that tangible appreciation, I think, does go a long way. Les, you and I have talked a lot about, our community support for the military in the past, and I've heard you talk about similar things for our local business partners to maybe recognize educators in the future. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I think a lot of this stemmed from that idea is, Fairbanks is a fantastic duty station if you're in the military, because this is a community that really appreciates our servicemen and women. And I know that not all duty stations are like that. I had a lot of family that served. My brother-in-law did 26 years in the Army. He was actually the head of the Kiowa unit when they shut that down here in Fairbanks. So when I think about that and I look at it, one of the common threads, I think, for everybody is we can all reach back into our education and go, there was this teacher that changed my life. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that that's an uncommon story for anybody, where you spent your time in school and there was somebody that really directed or changed your perspective on something or pushed you down an educational course that led us to maybe where we are today. And so given that they drive such a massive impact in the lives of individuals, they obviously start young, but it's a lifelong potential impact. Mm-hmm. It just seemed to me that creating a system of support around our educators we already have the model for it. We thank our servicemen and women when they come in, thanks for your service, and they usually come back with thanks for your support. We have discount programs for them throughout the community. And I looked at that and I go, that's not a terribly difficult thing to duplicate, or I don't even call it copying, but to just extend to our educators as well. It seems like a really easy thing to do. But I think that there are also opportunities for businesses to be involved in supporting education beyond appreciation. And I'm excited to see what this next year looks like. I think that, again, having some great partners like DW and Borealis Med Spa and Sunrise jump in, that was huge. And I think it was kind of, in all fairness, a drop in the bucket in terms of what we can do. I also feel that these kind of activities do a lot in helping. Obviously the district is constrained, right? You only have so much money. I think we all understand that feeling, right? But appreciation doesn't really cost much. It's pretty easy. And so from a business standpoint, we can do a lot to build morale and make things easier for teachers, to make them feel good about their decision to be a teacher in the Fairbanks North Star School District.
Yeah, we love that. And thanks for mentioning, too, just it goes outside of that appreciation piece. We do have amazing community partners and business partners here in Fairbanks that provide all kinds of options and opportunities for our students, whether it be specifically donating to activity clubs or specifically at different schools to make sure that we have programs in place that our students and our families want. So Kim, moving forward, how do you see maybe this grow, and what's the benefit for your business in participating in something like this?
That's a really good question. Thank you for asking. I think in the future, how I see it growing, from Borealis's perspective at least, is to continue on with the annual gift of discounted services to those that want to come see us. And then additionally, I'd love to add an educational component. I think a lot of times when I see clients in my practice, maybe they've had a long history of acne, which can lead to acne scarring and whatnot. And if I can do, an educational component where I come speak and talk about skin health and how to take care of your skin, maybe how to combat acne, maybe, do an event sometime during the year, I would like to add that to the component as well.
That's amazing. I love that. We'll take you up on that. We have an amazing health sciences CTE pathway in our district, and specifically at Hutchinson High School. A lot of our students get into some pretty high level health classes there. And so being able to work with you on that is great. Les, I know you've been impactful in our automotive programs throughout the district, and love your partnership on that.
Well, we're always happy to jump in where we can. That we've always had, I won't say always, I can't say always, I've owned Nissan for almost 9 years now, but we have had service managers involved in the advisory boards for the career and technical education programs, providing that real world experience and communicating things back. Like this last year, a little bit off topic, there's always been a push for kids coming out of the automotive program to run to independent shops because manufacturers won't pay them as many hours for a job as an independent will. So initially it looks like the better job was that direction. Well, we got legislation passed this last year that makes it the law that the manufacturers have to pay technicians the same amount of hours for a job here as they would get if it was done in an independent shop. So now as these kids are coming out, they have an opportunity to extend training by joining a dealership. They get factory training. They get continuing education. We do a lot of stuff where we send our apprentices up to the university from there. And it's been really useful to help disseminate that information, because that's not something the average everyday guy knows, right? I was kind of curious about the acne thing. Sounds like a weird subject, but I think a lot of us a lot of us forget what that was like in middle school and high school, and the acne hits and the embarrassment, and especially when you had a bad case. I was one of those guys who was on Accutane, right? Which in hindsight had some pretty significant side effects.
Yeah.
So are they still using the same kind of stuff for that? Because I know that what that does to a kid's self-esteem is pretty significant. Are there better methods for dealing with that than Accutane now?
I think that for some cases, Accutane is the appropriate approach, but there are definitely other options out there. And I think it varies sometimes from patient to patient, the approach that you need to take. But yes, there are definitely other things besides Accutane that you can do out there. There's even lasers out there that you can do that are not, which you say laser and it sounds maybe a little scary, but it's not, and it doesn't have to be even really painful. And we do see from time to time parents coming in to Borealis with their kids asking for help and guidance. And if I can help shed some light on that on a broader spectrum, I would love to do that. But to answer your question, yes, there's definitely some other options out there, and you don't have to combat acne or leave it. Sometimes the Accutane, many patients can't tolerate it, and so they go on with their acne, which then leads to scarring, and that's lifelong. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, we're happy to start educating on that.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
You're going to turn over the show to you. I love the question.
Sorry,
that's
questions.
Awesome.
Be careful giving me a microphone.
No, that's perfect. Well, I did want to wrap it up. I think it's been a great conversation in terms of our teacher appreciation, our educator appreciation kind of event this year. But any closing thoughts from either of you?
Well, I'll just add that we're, go big. Well, how do we go bigger? So I've had some conversations with the Education and Workforce Development Committee as well as the CEO at the Chamber of Commerce. And they're interested in how they can jump in and maybe take this on as a project. So next year, maybe it's not me out front leading this, but the chamber leading this. Because obviously there's, that's all business people, right? And looking at where those partnerships could really flourish. And whereas we've kind of focused on this one event, we tried to keep it in February where we know things are kind of a little rough, and into March when the doldrums kind of hit, trying to boost them around at that time. I think that if the chamber gets involved, one of the things we're discussing is how do we turn this into more of a year-round attitude or event that's driven by the chamber and the partner businesses. So I'm excited about what this could look like. I'm looking forward to input from the rest of the people on that committee and the chamber partners.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for your continued support in many different levels. And Kim, how about you?
Yeah, I would just like to add, for those of you listening to this and wondering, how you can get involved, don't be afraid to reach out with any questions that you might have. I think there's going to be a lot of businesses that want to help out, and so I'm encouraging all of you guys to get involved. And you can feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll direct you send you in the right direction.
Awesome. That's great. And we won't force you to be on the podcast. That's not a part of participating. So if you're not interested in that, don't worry about that. But would love to see where this continues to go, and maybe it flows through the chamber and in the future. Lots of great business partners over there too. And so thanks so much for your willingness to appreciate our educators here in Fairbanks, and then also come on the podcast and have this conversation.
Our pleasure. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.